the need to sustain Yoruba language in the Southwest. All over the world, language has remained a potential tool for the identification and liberation of our race, of all race. The Yoruba also one of the best researched ethnic nationalities in the world. The Yorubas are a people with the historical prosperity. The Yorubas are a people with a historical prosperity for living in the larger urban centers. Yoruba cities have always been among the most populous in Africa. Today, around 11.5% of all West Africa are ethnic Yorubas. It is also interesting to know that the Yoruba language is one of the most influential on the African continent and in America. Yoruba language is very deep in meaning, articulation and delivery. It is one of the best languages in the world. Our language is a blessing from God to us, and we must be proud of it. There is need for us to sustain our language, and the best way to do this is to promote the language in our school. The Southwest governors must begin to embrace a new initiative that will enhance the use of Yoruba language in all our schools. As it is with both English language and mathematics, efforts should be made to make Yoruba language a compulsory subject for admission in our tertiary institution in Yoruba land. And our state House of Assemblies in the Southwest must choose a day or two when they will be using Yoruba language in their official language in running the parliament. For instance, Lagos State University LASU recently took a bold step to preserve Yoruba-rich cultural heritage. The management of the schools has announced the inclusion of Yoruba language as a compulsory course for all its students. Pàtẹ́wọ́ Lagos State University. School tèmi náà nìyẹn. Àtẹ́wọ́ yẹn ò rí lẹ́wọ́. Latest last slide. The new course added to the school curriculum from the 2023/2024 academic session entitled GNC 104 Yoruba Language Studies. With the new development, it is interesting to note that Yoruba language is now compulsory for all LASU students, no matter the discipline involved. Nǹkan tó lè mí ni wípé kò bá jẹ́ Igbo, kò bá jẹ́ Hausa o, ẹni ẹlẹ́yà lèyà tó bá fẹ́ ka ìwé ní LASU, ó di dandan kó kọ́ èdè Yorùbá. Wọ́n ṣe kò yege ń bẹ̀, wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe fún wa ní German nìyẹn, wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe fún wa ní Spanish nìyẹn, wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe fún wa ní most of the country nìyẹn. Either you like it or not, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́ èdè wọn. Tó bá jẹ́ yunifásitì ilẹ̀ Igbo State University, ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá lọ kàwé bẹ́ẹ̀ dandan náà ó kọ́ èdè Igbo. LASU students must study and pass Yoruba language as a subject for them to be eligible for graduation. We must applaud the management of Lagos State University LASU for bringing to a focus a new initiative that will sustain Yoruba language in the states. On this note, I urge all the state universities in the Southwest to take a cue from Lagos State LASU initiative at sustaining Yoruba language in their school curriculum. It is also interesting to note that both Lagos State and the Osun State House of Assembly now adopt the use of Yoruba language as their official language during the plenary session in the State House of Assembly every Thursday of the week. A full Lagos State House of Assembly at Osun House of Assembly. For that word, pàtẹ́wọ́ dáadáa. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ fọwọ́ gba dọ́là kan bí ètò parí kó pàtẹ́wọ́. Àwọn ìpàtẹ́wọ́ jáde. kò sẹ́ni tó ń bá dọ́là ṣọ̀tá. Inú mi dẹ̀ dùn wípé ibi tẹ́ wá gbé ọba Àjàgùnmàlè wá ẹ̀yin olókun ni. Àrà ń ran bọ́ọ̀mù lọ́wọ́ lórí àdúrà tá a bá gbà ń bí ni. Combination of two great spirits òun la fi ń ṣe festival yìí lọ́dún yìí. So ibi ìbàdí dá o ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀yin Lẹ́kí tó bá di dọdún tó mọ̀ ẹ lọ ṣe bánà ńlá sójú títì wọ́n lè mọ̀ pé festival bánà tẹ ṣe kéré yẹn wọ́n máa ń pè ní tóró ó ti kéré bi. Tẹ ṣe ńlá tó tóbi wọ́n lè mọ̀ pé ọdún wà nù. Just last week the Lagos State House of Assembly debated the budget in Yoruba language. Others said in the Southwest must embrace this initiative of promoting our language. We must ensure that the use of our language in whatever we do. This laudable initiative will help in sustaining our language, culture, and identity as a race. This is the best thing that can happen to any race in the world. For instance, in the Asia country are able to remain in the top of the world today because they are able to sustain their language as a potent tools for transformation and growth. More importantly, as a custodian of our culture and traditions, our urban and traditional rulers must also help in preserving our culture and traditional heritage. The pillars of our traditional rulers are our pride in Yoruba land. Let me quote, can you back the pillars of our traditional ruler are our pride in Yoruba land. Pillars of Yoruba pride whenever they travel home, for wherever they are in the world. For example, in Egypt, the new built National Museum is now a signature of all heights. Tourists from all over the world visit the museum as one of the best tourist destinations in the world. I have visited the National Museum in Egypt, and it is usually a thing of joy to visit the museum where the whole history of Egyptian was reflected with various artifacts and documents of history. As it is in Egypt, so it is very important, very part of the world, especially now that tourism has been a global initiative and business for economic growth and development. I'm appealing to all state governors in the Southwest to look into this new initiative. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism must create a mix in all our tourist sites across Yoruba land. This will enable all the visitors and tourists to know more about the uniqueness of all our tourist destinations in Yoruba land. Muslim pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia as the Holy Land to fulfill part of their religion obligation. They go to the They go to the holy Kaaba for religion tourism. Everybody is a press secretary. So they go to the holy Kaaba for religion tourism. That is also driven by their faith to exploit the tourism potential of the Holy Land. For instance, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s, the Holy Kaaba was not as beautiful as it is today. The Holy Kaaba usually undergoes special transformation every year. And it is interesting that the Saudi Arabia government is from all over the world. The special transformation of the Holy Kaaba has also earned the government of Saudi Arabia global respect and honor. Also of good note is the enormous transformations of Israel as a holy land. The majority of Christian pilgrims also go to Israel to fulfill their religious obligation. In Israel, tourism sites like River Jordan, the Israel Museum in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv Museum of Art, Towers of David, Masada National Park, and several other holy sites are special places where Christians and other tourists visit for spiritual rejuvenation. Majority of the pilgrims that visited Israel are also driven by the belief to exploit the tourism potential of the Holy Land. Finally, God has blessed Yoruba race with everything we need to progress as a race. We have a unique language that is now an official language in some states in Brazil and other Caribbean countries. We have various tourist sites all over Yoruba land. We also have different artifacts that must be preserved as a pride of our race. It is our responsibility as a people to promote our language, culture, and tradition, as is being done in Saudi Arabia, Israel, and other parts of the developed world. Thank you for listening. God bless you all.